few decks in the history of Magic that I enjoy playing more than the 2019 Esper PO deck. I bring it back time to time when I think it makes sense in the metagame. And even though PO, the card itself, may have just been power crept out of the format, I still think that this deck just gives me all of the opportunities to excel. So it's 2024. Time for a Esper PO Vintage Challenge. Okay, welcome back, Vintage Gamers. This is the Friday, 11/8. Eternal Weekend is coming up 2 weekends from now, and I'm not really thrilled with my choices for the event. I haven't really been super happy with how the metagame is so hostile to Doomsday. I don't feel like the Oath deck is particularly well positioned against Jewel and Lurrus, considering I think Esper Lurrus will be the main player in that field. So my two new school approaches to Vintage are, I think, quite poor metagame calls. So I am looking at other options. One of those options is some kind of Esper Tinker or Esper PO shell. I do believe that there is some really strong points to this right now. Mainly, I think this kind of deck is very strong against non-Lurrus decks. You have a lot of really good tools to beat up on decks like Jewel and Oath and Doomsday. I mean, not Doomsday, but like Doomsday is a totally fair matchup for this kind of deck. And so I like it. I think there are ways to make its matchup versus Lurrus better, and this is what I'm going to go with tonight. I did play a challenge with a similar list to this 3 a.m. challenge last week with this list, and it went pretty well. I was like 2-2, but I just decided that it was too late and I just wanted to go to bed, so I dropped. But I think Teferi is a card that is at an all-time premium right now. The way it interacts with creatures on the board and stops that flash creatures from coming back in is very, very strong. It is a little awkward of a card when it comes to the Bowmaster itself, but pretty good against Frog. I've been playing some Teferis in Legacy. I've been playing some like Esper Stoneblade in Legacy, and I really like what they do against that kind of blue tempo-y matchup there. And then I think this card has been super good for me against like the variety of other blue combo decks in the field. Breach, obviously Breach has Pyroblast, but it's still pretty good even with that in the picture. Oath and Jewel, I thought this card's been great. So looking for an excuse to register some Teferis. So I have just a very classic PO shell here. I am playing a lot of lands. I'm choosing to play 13 blue lands plus your 2 spell lands in Strip Mine and Urza Saga. I believe they just give you like some really nice alternative game plans where you can Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor for an Urza Saga. Your opponent's not typically going to counter your Vampiric Tutor, and you can really get them with an uncounterable land, whereas Strip Mine is going to give us some extra game against these just random bizarre players that you'll find. Another reason I think Esper, either Tinker or PO, I'm not saying you have to play PO. You could cut PO and play some Pounders, some blue cards, some whatever. Initiative creatures if you really want to. I prefer to PO because I think it has like a higher power level and it has like a higher you can have some like more broken hands, and I think that's important in the current metagame. The metagame right now I feel is very jammy. If you're not playing the Lurrus deck, you're basically playing 2 ships passing in the night combo decks that go against each other. Like you're just like mulliganing to your turn 1 initiative card, or your turn 1 Archon of Myria in initiative. You're mulliganing to your Tinkers and your jewels and rings and stuff. So I think having a higher power level as opposed to like playing some kind of middle ranged Esper deck makes more sense to me. That being said, both of the decks get to play 4 Swords of Plowshares, which I think is extremely valuable right now. Lots of creatures running around in the format. So Swords is at a nice power level to just answer anything you can come up with cleanly. It's going to answer any initiative creature 1 for 1. It's going to answer Hull Breachers, Frogs, Bowmasters, anything. Because we're so jammy right now, and there are creatures, balance definitely goes up as a main deck card. And Tinker is still Tinker. Tinkering for Bola Citadel will still win you games, and this is one of the better decks at winning the game after you Tinker a Citadel. I do like Mentor right now as well. Mentor is a good card against Lurrus. this is one of the few decks I like Bobble in. Obviously, you're a deck that counters a lot of things with your Bobble, but you're also a deck that can pick up your Bobble, get it off your Saga, and then combo off. You just really want to have enough artifacts for your Opal, and so this gives you a little bit extra artifact count towards Opal, which is very important. Sideboard, I just have some like the stronger anti-dredge cards. I do like the Karn as a one-sided null rod for the Tinker, Mirrors, and Jewel. I have a lot of respect for Jewel in the sideboard with some Seal Sabotages. One Hercules is maybe a little low. Maybe I have to go up to 2 if you play this at Eternal Weekend or something. That could be true. I am playing a Dress Down, not in the main, because I don't think it has a wide enough applicability anymore. But I still like Dress Down against, like double Archon of Emeria hands and just random bug players and stuff. So maybe the pitch for Dress Down is now as a sideboard card. It's possible. And then just a couple anti-counters, anti-combo cards in Negation and Trap. So that's what I'm thinking anyways. If I can't find something, that's really sparking my interest in terms of metagame positioning and power, then it's always reasonable for me to sleeve up a Esper PO deck, just because it's a deck that I know all the ins and outs of, and a deck that I'm going to always be comfortable playing. And when you're playing Tinker and Yogwill and Demonic and Time Walk and Ancestral, and you're just opting for all Tolarian Academy, all the most powerful cards that are restricted, even if PO itself has been maybe power crept out of the format a little bit, you're still going to have just a really high power deck, even if it's not, as good as it used to be. So that's my theory anyways. We'll see how it goes in this Vintage Challenge. All right, round 1, we open with turn 1 Tinker with Force Backup. Not bad. Not only turn 1 Tinker with Force Backup, but also just a top to go with it. So on turn 1, we either win or we don't win. Oh, not a Chrome Mox initiative, huh? Or it could be Oops All Spells, actually. Because Oops All Spells did just top 8 an event. I think I have to let the first Chrome Mox go. My hand is going to lose very hard to Resolved Archon or Peacekeeper or anything. But all of those things require another Mox anyways. So I can still counter a second Mox if I see it's mono white. It is mono white. Yeah, I have to hit that. Now, do they have another one? Yep, they do. All right. It's quite bad for me. I guess maybe playing Lotus is worse than playing Pearl because of follow-up Dish Witch Enchanter. They play this, which is the problem. Oh, they followed up with a Bobble. Cool. I don't know if we were ever... Oh, they have a they have a March of the Otherworldly Light on my upkeep. Okay. Yeah, this is just like a little bit too much disruption for me to beat. I mean, I'm always keeping my hand, but... I obviously could have let the Mana Crypt resolve and hoped my opponent did not have a Cavern, but... I mean there are reasons to force the Chrome Mox, but they they don't really play Thalia anymore. It's just 3 mana cards, so yep, and a follow-up initiative creature. Like technically, I also have to counter a Vexing Bauble here. I don't think they had it on turn 1. I guess I technically could have had it on turn 1. Like if my opponent goes Chrome Mox, Mana Crypt, Vexing Bauble, and then still plays Archon, it's still pretty bad too. I don't think there's is there a set of draws that gets me out of this? I don't think so. Because I'm taking 2, 5, 7. I can't play something and balance. I have to get a white source. Even if I draw swords, I die. Okay, I'm just gonna concede. Yeah, I mean, that's super unfortunate. That's a lost die roll, lost game. Obviously, if we were on the play, we instantly win the game, but we lost the die roll and we instantly lost the game. Obviously, I could have forced the Chrome Mox, but don't think that choice makes enough sense, and I still think I probably lose based on what we've seen from their hand. This is kind of just where Vintage is at the moment. You just present your turn 1 kill and hope it works, or you play Lurrus Control. 2 options. Do I want other? Oh yeah, dress down is for this matchup. Obviously, Flusterstorm comes out. Misstep is coming out. We probably want to bring in something for null rods. We have 2 Teferis, but sometimes casting Teferi can be kind of hard. We don't have to take out negations, obviously. We could even bring it in. I mean, Steel Sabotage is probably better on the play because I can use it as a counter spell. Probably better than a probe no matter what. So maybe we go like this, and then on the draw, we'll swap out the sabotages for like Hercules plus negation or something similar. Double opal hand, no other Moxen, no swords, can't keep. PO for 3 on turn 1, can keep. Unfortunately, you pretty much have to play into Mindbreak Trap here. I don't think a lot of the mono white lists play Mindbreak Trap at this point, but you are pretty forced to play into Mindbreak Trap here because of how many taxing effects they have. But we might win the game based on what we draw. Bubble's not bad here. Yeah, I think I can play out this crypt. What I'm gonna do, one more. What I'm gonna do is just play a bobble for a turn so that they have no fast acceleration, and then we'll crack it at their end step. Because we didn't draw any more action, so we have 2 draws for action on the next turn here, but they can't do anything on this turn because I guess they can have Ancient Doom Null Rod. Okay, sure enough. And that doesn't actually work against Null Rod. Fair enough. All right, my bad. I was wrong. I stopped them from having mana acceleration, but I didn't stop them from having, or from Moxen mana acceleration, but I didn't stop them from having Ancient Doom Null Rod. I have 2 Steel Sabotages and Teferis to go for. Was holding up Dress Down for this better? I don't think so. Might have been. Man, I guess it might have been. Maybe I'm just playing really badly. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like that's the way I want to use my Dress Down in this matchup, but... I don't know. You're not gonna get to watch me for very long. Looks like I might just be done already. I need to draw outs, so I think it is time to use a Dress Down anyways. Even if I'm not progressing with this. Just buys me some time, draws me some cards. I think just losing the die roll was too much here. I don't know. That's nice and all, but oh, I don't know. Just so much coin flipping happening right now. and not because of Mana Crypt. You have a follow-up Archon after I use my... Oh, that's probably bad too. All right, so I win this game with one of 4 draws. I have Steel Sabotage wins the game. I have 2 Steel Sabotage win the game, 2 Teferis win the game. Every other draw is pretty bad. Wait, they chose Swords to Plowshares? I mean, they have an Archon follow-up? I mean, I guess. I guess. All right, so now none of those things win the game anymore. And I wasn't drawing them anyways. And so I can't PO into Swords to survive because they've named Swords on Anointed Peacekeeper. Yeah, I mean, I think this matchup is quite good for PO, but these games were not remotely close. Don't know what to say. 7-minute round. Yeah. Wrong turn. I don't know. All right. I actually ended up just dropping from the stream, but maybe not being on live camera will help me out here. Obviously not in the best mood / state of mind about Vintage recently, but can only really play with what you're given. Obviously, one of the things I picked up after playing Magic for so long is that you should really only ever play Magic that you are interested in playing. So maybe some reevaluation is necessary post Eternal Weekend. We'll have to see. But for now, we'll just do our best. Sand's definitely on the greedy side. Don't have the best mana situation. However, I do have a decent amount of counter magic. My opponent didn't reveal Lurrus. Makes you more inclined to keep force hands. A Tundra Pearl, Time Walk, Tinker Gamer maybe. Have to see. There's like an Esper Tinker deck running around right now. I probably should have led. I am playing pretty poorly too, which is definitely part of it, but sometimes it's tough at the end of a long work day, just showing up for a challenge. I don't want to not have this Flusterstorm turned on for Ancestral, so I'm just going to Flusterstorm the Merchant Scroll here. It also lets me like untap in Demonic if I have that option. We'll see. This not being a fetch land is definitely bad for me. Would have loved to be able to just get a Demonic Tutor going, but blue card is fine here. Fetch land is good. Now the question becomes, what do we want to do? I think the answer is wait. I have hold up, hard cast, negation, and if nothing happens, I can always just brainstorm. And then my opponent is like reasonably likely to have a Swords to Plowshares. Time Vault, interesting. Okay. Oh, right. I believe this player is working on a variation of PO. Forgot about that. These are all quite interesting. We have to choose how we want to approach this game from this spot. I can get rid of some cards permanently and jam a Tinker. There's a lot of upside to just Tinker with Force backup. Like simply putting away Academy Mentor, fetching for a Vamp, and then Tinker. And we still have other plans as well. But my opponent has to have double force here, so... I kind of like keeping Time Walk. I mean, I have Demonic Tutor as well. think I just gonna go pitch Time Walk because I'd like to have negation up for them so I can't lose on the swing back. I have Demonic to cast anyways, so. Yeah, we'll just go Demonic and we're gonna go get a Sensei's Top. Um, Now we have a lot of life to work with, and my opponent concedes. Makes sense. So classic 01 PO bracket mirror. Opponent is not exactly on what I'm on. I believe has like some rings and things. I'm gonna bring in a Karn, a negation, a trap. So those are probably the cards that I'm most interested in. And then I like to take out an island. I don't feel like a strip mine is very necessary. I can probably get away with less removal spells. I don't hate the idea of a sabotage either. Something like this could be pretty interesting. Try it. Interesting hand. Don't particularly like this hand against combo, but it's got a lot of power in it. It's a very powerful hand. Opponent has six cards. Another Pearl opener. This one has a Jet as well. Has a Monolith, right? Because they're playing rings and things. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to bring in the Needle, actually. Kind of forgot about that. Another Monolith. Are we just jamming a ring then? Okay. Hmm. Now I have a Force. So yeah, so like this is a pretty easy demonic for a Needle if I had brought it in. I kind of just forgot that my opponent. I mean, I talked about what I thought was in my opponent's deck, but I didn't really realize it was this much of a focal point on rings. So I could technically bounce this ring, and if I draw a blue card off my Teferi, then I can force it on the way back down. I could go mentor and make a bunch of things and try to tempo my opponent that way. I could demonic for ancestral. Can't really demonic for like a mana crypt, unfortunately. That doesn't really seem like it works. I would love to demonic for a Karn, but I didn't draw Mox. If I drew Mox, I would have 6 mana, and I could just immediately go demonic Karn and win the game. It's kind of looking to me like the best play is going to be to Teferi and pray for a blue card. Okay. So now even if they hit a mana source, I can just force their ring on the way back down. It's a really good mana source. And then from there, they have 1 card left. I did not draw a mana source of my own. Rather hold these opals for this. So if they have a follow-up ring, it's pretty good. Key's not bad either. Represents possibilities. They have a mystical tutor. Well, at least this is a force. And then if I don't have to force, then I can go for an ancestral. I think is worth it. Yeah. just plus. So now I still have uncountable forces. I really, really like Teferi in the current metagame. That's part of the reason I wanted to play this deck today, is I thought Teferi was super strong right now. With everybody going so far in. What is my best line? Now there are things like Demonic for Mana Crypt, which I like a lot here. I think what I'll do is I'll bounce this back to my hand. Oh, didn't really work out very well, but don't have any. I guess I could pick up this. They have 2 cards left. I don't think I need to pick that up. Snap. I have exactly enough to do a snap something. Snap DT, snap. No, I think the answer is just play a mentor, present lethal, holding open as many things as possible, and then untap and snap time walk. So this holds up force and sabotage. I could obviously snap ancestral here, but I don't think that's necessary. Maybe I'm supposed to cycle a Mox as well, but I feel like I have this Teferi, so they can't do anything on my turn anyways. Swords on my mentor. Yeah, I don't have to let that resolve, but I can just let that resolve. I'm so far ahead that I think it's just totally acceptable. I can win with 2 monks. Yeah, they're off it anyways. Like my play on this next turn actually is going to be snap PO, snap demonic, time walk, and I'm sure. I mean, it might even just be like snap PO, snap demonic, demonic PO, PO. Like I'm sure there's a 20-point lethal here. So yeah, definitely PO is definitely lethal. Well, I do think I might have misboarded sideboard wise. I would have liked to have my needle. I think that would have been the easiest play. It's just demonic needle, but it worked out pretty well. I guess I really strongly like what Teferi looks like in the current format. Teferi looks extremely good at winning these all-in blue counter war combo matchups, which seem to be pretty prevalent. Obviously it gets pyroblasted by the breach deck, which is a little unfortunate, but like this card's got to be incredible versus Oath. Good versus, you know, Jewel and other combo decks. I think it's acceptable against Lurrus. I think it's, you know, it's good for some things against Lurrus, but obviously it has some downsides with, you know, Bowmaster. But you know, against Frog it's quite good. So having these kind of Teferis and Baubles and stuff to help break that kind of combo-y blue matchup open, pretty relevant. Oh, okay. Round 3. Opponent led with Misty after not revealing a Lurrus, and I kept a hand that has some good matchups and probably some bad matchups. We'll see what happens. This is a hand that I would be pretty interested in keeping if they were on Lurrus, actually. A lot of power, can throw a lot of things at my opponent and then finish with a Tinker. I don't mind this hand versus Lurrus, but see. Versus Breach, it's not too bad either. I have some powerful plays. I could go into Merchant for Force, try to jam through a Tinker, see what they're working with Probe, have a Swords for like a Hull Breacher. They shuffled on their Ponder. Island. It's a little unfortunate because if I want to like Merchant for Force, I kind of want to hold this Probe, but I need to know what they're working with. Breach, Hull Breacher, Lotus. Okay. And a Dismember. Wow. The main deck Dismember is quite interesting here. I would normally just jam my Mentor. I think instead what we're going to do is go Merchant for an Ancestral, see if we can bait the Force with an Ancestral, and then untap and Tinker. All right, so we have Force and Fluster now. Obviously, if my opponent draws something bad for here, they beat me with their own Force, but we're in a great spot now to try to resolve our Tinker. They could have Hull Breacher plus Force now. But we have a Fluster. A blue card off the top is probably our best draw, as a blue card off the top represents Fluster and Force. Okay, hit our blue card off the top. So I like the idea of playing a Soul Ring up the count here, and then jam Tinker off. Kind of hard to say off which one. I'm going to go off the Soul Ring. I think having a white source on a Moxen is good here. So let's see what they have for us. Fetch may be a hard cast negation. Just casting Hull Breacher. I think that's totally fine. Obviously, we used our white mana for that. Maybe we could have played our island out. All right, so they're baited with... All right, they drew a Force for turn. Force, pitch, Force. I'm going to use my Fluster to max proficiency here. And then I still have Force for a follow-up play on their side. Obviously, I don't have swords for this Hull Breacher right away, but I think not using a land drop is more profitable for my Tinker. Well, Sensei Stop is great if there wasn't a Hull Breacher in play. Okay. Let's spin. Force, Fluster, Negation to Fairy. So I can just play it to Fairy and bounce. Don't actually get to go any further though. If I do it to Fairy, I just draw through the negation and still have a Fluster. I mean, it's fine though. It's probably Oh, I have a Sensei Stop though. There we go, Justin. Woo, I'm struggling. All right, I mean, Teferi has just been great. Teferi has been looking really good. Bounce this Hull Breacher. And then draw with top, play top, play top, draw with top, play top, draw with top, the top, draw with top, play top, mystical. Mystical for a time walk. Cast time walk. Go to my next turn. I don't need all of this. PO. I think with this counter magic setup, we can just go Tundra, Mentor, pass. My opponent has Hull Breacher, Underworld Breach, Dismember, and an Unknown. I have multiple counter magics. It's going to be probably Dismember on my Mentor. I Fluster if they concede, very likely. Yeah. Tinker is still broken, for anyone keeping track at home. Underworld Breach, huh? I don't like bringing in Leyline against this deck. I'm going to bring in Karn. I'm going to bring in Negation and Trap. I'm going to take out Balance and Island and Strip Mine. I want to have some amount of swords for Hull Breachers. Maybe Dress Down instead of Mystical against the Pyroblast deck. I don't know if Dress Down's even worth it. It's just hitting Hull Breacher and maybe... It does give us like a nice little clean answer to Saga tokens because we're taking out the Strip Mine, but... Yes, I'm aware Magic Online has been having problems. uh, don't know. I could probably make my deck slightly better against this breach build that everybody's been playing recently. Don't know though. Feel like I'd like some kind of card that's less committal than um Leyline. Historically, like a Pyroblast Tinker deck is usually pretty good into Esper PO, but like obviously a very playable matchup. Lots of like end step POs and that kind of thing, but they shuffled again on their turn one ponder, and we have look at the hand again. Need Moxen in here though, really badly. This is a classic hand where you have all these POs, but they don't do anything. Though one gets pitched to Force Will, which is pretty nice. Ancestral, that's a good one. Let's see what my opponent's working with. Mental misstep on my Gataxian Probe. All right, that's fine with me. I'll jam my Ancestral now. I'll probably force back if they have a force, and that way I can not overdraw. Though I run into Mindbreak Trap by going this route. I think it's okay, though. All right, refill the hand. They're at 3 cards. Some very powerful Planeswalkers. Can't vamp for like a Lotus to play a Karn right away. Karn is a nice one here. Stops a lot of what they're doing. Actually, all of these Planeswalkers should be pretty good. Dress down looks kind of bad here. I wish it was. What would I take out? Would I take out for this dress down? Swords? I guess. Yeah, I think I would be better as a swords. Don't remember. It wasn't swords though. It was something else. I think it's worth just cycling the dress down instead of vamping. Vamp, I'd like it to be better, and I give myself 2 shots to draw any mana, because I can play 3 mana Planeswalkers here. I could always get Teferi and then bounce my dress down back too for extra value. Don't know if I'll do that. I feel like I'm gonna get Pyroblasted for some reason. Mox is kind of interesting because now if I draw a land, I can slam a Karn. I did not draw a land. I'm gonna play a Narset. Straight up Pyroblast, right? I think it's better if my Narset gets Pyroblasted than my Teferi. They can wheel here. It's pretty good. Just the Hull Breacher. I'm just gonna Teferi the Hull Breacher. Just gives me the most leeway. Blind draw for a force. Or a blue card for a force if they have a force in their hand. If they force this and they're drawing top for turn, it's not too threatening. Time walk. Okay. So now I could vamp for a swords if they just redeploy Hull Breacher. Oh, Dak Fade and Steel Pearl is actually pretty good against my bounce Teferi. That's kind of funny. Maybe they loot. Probably not though. Let's think here. So I have uncounterable. What is my strongest line? If I vamped for a Black Lotus, I still can't go Mentor Time Walk. I'd love to deal with this Dak Fading immediately. But I don't really think I can. Maybe it's just natural draw. Kind of need mana too. That's good. All right, so I have mana now. I think what I want to do is utilize this brainstorm and time walk and set up for something strong. Maybe can find a Mox and Tinker. Okay. So I'm gonna have 4 mana. So I should be able to set up a Tinker from here. I put Karn back. I put land back. And then I go fetch. I mean, I'm gonna have a little bit low life total, but I guess I can go Lotus and go Mentor Yogwill. That might be better. It's almost certainly better. I can still set up a Tinker after all of this, but it's just gonna be lethal, right? Black Lotus, Time Walk, Ancestral Probe, Vamp. Should just be a lethal mentor here. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can always get like top with a vamp or something. It's gonna work. This is the power of just playing the restricted cards, right? Just play your Mana Crypt, Yogwill, Lotus, Time Walk, Ancestral, Tinker deck. Play good cards around it with Force. Obviously, PO didn't do anything in this game, but it was a blue card that pitches to Force Wall on the bottom line. And obviously, Teferi was great. It's possible that maybe my deck is better off if I cut these POs. What would we cut them for, though? Like, they need to be blue cards, right? Because we're at 4, 8, 10, 15, 18, 20. I mean, it's 25. So maybe not all blue cards, but you know, some lists choose to play initiative creatures. I don't think that's terrible against Lurrus, but it's not that good against the rest of the format. But you could always do that. You could play. So I've always kind of liked the idea of playing 1 or 2 white plumes, just like play 2 white plumes, and there's flex slots. But you end up with like some really clunky 3-drop only hands, where obviously the POs are clunky too, but they pitch to force, right? I guess theoretically you could just take these and turn them all into ponders, right? So if you play 3, 4 ponders here, and then you have a lot less clunk, you probably have to take out some of your, PO cards, maybe your opals and your tops, and you have some other cards to play anyways. It's tough because like if you want to play less POs, you could do that, but then you lose your ability to like combo through a turn. Maybe you don't need to do that, but I kind of feel like you want to. There's a lot of ways to go about it. Something to think about. All right, we're gonna continue here, 2-1 now, in our chill. Another no Lurrus matchup. Don't have Moxen, but I have Negation Misstep. If my opponent ends up on like a Dredge here, that's my biggest concern with keeping a hand like this. If they're not on Dredge, this hand usually is going to be okay. Mono White Initiative. Not the best hand versus Mono White Initiative, but it's a playable one. I get to play a bunch of things right away. I can throw negation at the first Moxen. I have it to fairy. I just think it's relying a little too much on the top. It's so tough. I'm gonna try keeping it though. I think there's a lot to like about this hand against non-Lurrus decks. Besides Mono White Initiative, like I don't think Mono White Initiative would be the reason to keep this hand. I think Jewel would be the reason to keep this hand. But I think it has game enough against everything that's not Bazaar. We'll have to consider if we want to actually spin on our upkeep, because if we like hit a Moxen, we can just play it to Fairy. If it is mono white, I guess you're pitching Mental Misstep over PO, trying to draw into POs. Yeah. I don't know. This is a tough hand. This is a tough hand. I could definitely see mulliganing this hand. I could definitely see mulliganing this hand. If it was a Force of Will instead of a negation, does that make it a lot better? It makes it a little better. But I don't know about a lot better. Yeah, it's also wastelandable, I guess, is another consideration. It's very unlikely that on the draw you get wastelanded on turn 1, but you could get wastelanded here. I don't know. I buy it. I can see it. I can see mulliganing this hand. I just didn't want to. I guess it really does depend on if I'm gonna spin on upkeep, doesn't it? Like if I spin, I get a much better chance of hitting my land or a Moxen, but I lose my chance of having a power play. Don't know. Don't know. Definitely want to play everything out though. I'm probably gonna spin. All right, what do you got for me, opponent? Mox is anything? I have to probably negate everything, anything that comes off of this. If it looks like it's gonna be mono white. We already took a tough round 1 loss to mono white. They had a really strong couple hands. We had a strong hand too, but it wasn't good enough. This hand is worse. All right, negate. I'm definitely just gonna negate a Lotus. Just gonna pitch the Mental Misstep as well. It's also pretty good if they're on Breach. Negating a Lotus is not bad either. Mono white, sure. Tap land, sweet. I feel like I'm gonna spin here. Underground Sea Opal. Oh no, that is not good. That is not good. Definitely never want to see the second Opal or the Underground Sea this early. Hopefully my third card down is good because I'm in trouble. I'm in super trouble. Those are not what we wanted to see off our top. I mean, our top let us find out a thing. Oof. Ancient Tomb. 3-drop. Archon. Yeah. Tundra. Damn, this would have been so good. Tundra would have been great. Just play to Fairy, bounce that shit. Hopefully I don't get wastelanded. Hopefully I don't get anything. I can't really beat anything here. I'm not really beating magic cards here. It might just be too much. It's not like I have a swords. I guess I could draw a balance. Peacekeeper. That's just gonna name my Teferi. Oh, I found the swords. Okay. It's weird that I have no like fetch lands or anything. But I guess if I get wastelanded, I lose, but I can't do much about that. Honestly, like if they don't have a wasteland follow-up, we have a swords on Archon. If we can spin into a Mox, we just go off with PO. It's super winnable spot. PO was named. I guess that means I'm getting wastelanded. No? I guess they just don't care about a Teferi? Interesting. Huh. I mean, it buys me so much time, lets me dig deeper. I know that I'm not hitting, though. Interesting. What do I want to do then? Yeah, I guess the Teferi doesn't do anything because I can't hit. I'm gonna just go for a swords and a spin. I guess I could spin first. I kind of want to see what their next card is, though. Is it another one? An initiative creature. Opal Force. Okay, I will force this. So what I'll do is I'll swords this. I don't think I can beat an initiative creature right now. Well, maybe I should have spun this top away. Yeah, maybe. If I can ever hit more lands, like Yogwill, a swords back is pretty good still. If they don't have a follow-up mana, this situation's pretty good for me. Draws through that, but I have a second Opal coming that I have to draw now, though. God, it's so bad. Maybe I needed to spin, but there's nothing really to spin to. Now they're just gonna name what? I guess they can just name Yogwill now. Hmm. I'm kind of treading water here. I know I'm drawing Opal. If I could ever turn these Opals on, they're pretty good with Yogwill too. Which is kind of funny. This Teferi is not going to live next to the next turn. Yeah, I almost wish I do think I should have mulliganed this hand, but I don't know. Not bad practice to find out. I wonder which one they'll name. Probably, I don't know, turning off the Top's ability. Making the Top's ability cost more is pretty strong. But Yogwill represents swords. But they named PO last time. Oh, they're going to turn off the Teferi? Okay, I don't like that one. I guess it stops me from spinning, but... Okay, I have to pay A2 to plus my Teferi, and then it just dies. I guess I'd rather just spin no matter what. I guess that means they don't have to attack the Teferi. But I'm not going to pay for this Teferi again anyways. Unless I find a sword, so... I found a balance. Wow. And a demonic tutor. Alright, well, we'll have to choose which one of those is better. I'm going to leave balance on top. But it might just be like demonic tutor for a Mox. Demonic tutor for a Mox. I feel like it's like a mana crypt or something. Chrome Mox. Uh-huh. Why are we doing that? To play like an angel? Swords. What, do they have a Silver Moon Cavalier? Is that why they need? Oh, Athalia. Okay. I'm gonna go with balance here. They lose a card and 2 creatures. Are they gonna attack Teferi? They still kill Teferi. I like that play. I can get my Teferi back anyways, though. But I would really love if they played another creature here, but I think I like this balance more than most things. 2 creatures and a card out of their hand. This is definitely an example of why I want to have balance in my main. It's just a lot of people want to play this initiative deck, regardless. Oh, another sword's gone. Wow, that's a lot of main deck swords. Interesting. So we know there's a demonic coming. We've got a lot of options with this demonic. White plume. Okay. So if I demonic for... They have a follow-up? Oh, shit. Another Thalia. Wow. It's going to be a lot. So I can demonic for a Lotus, and then on the next turn, I can still do a Lotus balance, right? Demonic for a Lotus, then I pay one for the Lotus, have 5 mana. Demonic, 3 mana. Oh, that's not enough. It's not enough. Wow. Maybe it just has to be demonic for swords. Demonic for, oh, man, this is tough. That's not a follow-up I expected, but it's a follow-up that makes sense. Like a mentor is not good enough here. A swords on its own is like not good enough either, right? I'm taking 7 on my next turn. If I get a Black Lotus now, I pay 1, I play a Black Lotus, I then have 1, 2, 3, 6 mana. I Yogg Will down to 2 mana. I Lotus back up. I Lotus back up to... I probably cycle my Opal first. Sorry, I just lost track of thought. So I play a Lotus, I go to 3 mana, end up to 6 mana. I Yogg Will down to 2 mana. I play my Lotus back up to 4 mana, and then I balance. And then I can replay Opal. I mean, I feel like I have to make this play. I don't know if it's going to be good enough, actually, but there's like a lot of ways this goes badly, too. I wonder if they go down the Lost Well. Like, if they simply, like, Lost Well and find an Archon, I guess I can't really win. Does mean this less of a clock, though. They went bottom bottom. What'd they hit? Sapphire? Sure. Okay, so now my plan is online. Almost makes me wonder if I was supposed to get swords. 1 card in hand. For them. Wild game. Really, this has been a very interesting game. Mystical. Alright, so I play my Black Lotus. I'm gonna float a black mana and play a new Opal. And then I'm gonna float a black mana and make black mana and play Yogg Will. With Yogg Will, I play my Black Lotus. Play my Balance. I guess I could go to Fairy, bounce this, and swords this. I'd rather just get rid of them, though. I think I can just go Balance. Oh, I don't actually get to reuse this Opal because I have to use my Lotus. I didn't even consider that. Wow. Huh. Shit. If this was a vamp, I could vamp for... No. I think I just have to take that as my flashback balance as my line. They're just gonna get a 1 card off the top here. What is this? End of turn March or something? End of turn Solitude. Okay, I can flash back my Force of Will, pitching my Mystical Tutor. So now they're on top decks. I'm on top decks, but they have the initiative at the moment. Wow. I have a spin, but I don't actually have good draws. I mean, I have some good draws, but I think my best draw is a mentor. They have a lot of removal, huh? Solitude and 2 swords so far. So there's a swords, but there's no follow-up. Oh, no. Wow. Probably supposed to draw force and force the next threat and swords the I mean swordsing is so bad because they're just gonna throne me. This is what I was saying, though. I don't actually have a lot of hits here. Wow. Maybe the answer was to fairy swords. Maybe the answer oh, they drew a solitude? Ah I just have so many things going wrong here. Saga Gaming? Oh, I wish I had found that. I need to draw swords though. I'm gonna. This is my last removal though. So if I swords the catacombs, then I just die to whatever comes off the throne. I think I die to whatever comes off the throne anyways. This game. So if I had gone swords, the Thalia. If I had kept the Mox in my hand and swords the Thalia, and then played Teferi, I was just so in on the balance that I tunneled. This is too much. Maybe I tunneled, right? If I go Lotus, Yogwill, swords. Did I have enough mana to just swords and keep going? Probably. I could have swords the Teferi, swords the thing, and then played a Teferi. I would have had the extra Moxen back. I had demonic. Oh, maybe I threw that. I was looking for a combo spot. I'll have to go back and look. I think I tunneled too much on the balance though. All right. Swords are coming in and Dress Down is coming in, and I did Steel Sabotages last time instead of Flusterstorm, Misstep, Probe, and Narset's pretty bad. I feel like I cut something else last time too. Maybe I cut the negation or something. Wow. Yeah, so I think we'll go back and look at it. But I feel like I missed a swords line off of Yogwill because I was too interested in balancing. And I tunneled on the balance, maybe. It made a lot of sense to balance there. And I'm not, but maybe I had like a tinker possibility. Maybe I had like so little mana. This hand has a Citadel in the hand and a force with no blue card. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. Okay. It's an interesting one. Kind of forces them to have a wasteland. Sabotage Jet PO. I mean, if they do nothing, I guess it's gonna be Jet PO. No, that can't be right. I should just take the jet first. Man. Because then I can actually go balance and then make a construct. Wow. Yeah, it was definitely jet first. I guess I might not be able to balance if they like play an Archon though. Solitude is still in. Interesting. Mana Crypt. Should definitely have been jet. Excuse me. Peacekeeper. I guess that could just name Saga. It's kind of good though. If my opponent just plays Peacekeeper naming Saga and I go PO, it's like pretty reasonable for me. If they have a Wasteland and then they name Balance, I'll definitely wish I had my jet. Don't think I'd draw into jet to PO for 2. I don't think that's what I would do. Just a plains. Named a Flooded Strand. Interesting. I mean, making 3/3s here just seems really broken. Where's a Saga? Hell of a magic card. To see which card I want to draw with this top. I was still sabotage, right? I guess I. Oh man, it doesn't still sabotage doesn't matter anymore unless they have a null rod. But I guess I can beat a null rod, is what I'm saying. Oh, another Peacekeeper. I see. I guess they named Saga with this one, or maybe they named Top. Then I draw Jet, and I'm fine with that. Weird game. What am I getting with this Saga? Which I guess I'm just gonna get like a plain Sapphire or a Pearl, maybe. Oh, they named Top. Oh, it had a Wasteland follow-up. I see. Okay. I mean, this is fine. This is super fine. I can go Mox PO. These have been interesting Peacekeeper names. Oh, they're not wastelanding my Saga. They're just playing a null. Oh, I couldn't even steal Sabotage the Stony Silence because they had a basic plain Stony Silence. Wow. Go figure. I did not see that line coming, but I'm still supposed to get artifacts. Oh, I'm gonna get my Flooded Strand wastelanded here. Or I'm gonna get my Tundra wastelanded. I see. Oh well. They have one card left and a Mana Crypt in play. I have a 5/5. At any point they kill my 5/5, I can draw a white source. Man, the fact that they have Stony Silence instead of Null Rod, Steel Sabotage does not bounce that. Yeah. They've lost no Mana Crypt flips. Oh, and they have a Null Rod. I see. I'm being hated on. I have a Steel Sabotage. I shuffled, right? I did shuffle. I guess if I draw a white mana, I could play it and then bounce my construct and balance them, but that doesn't actually help me. Like these things don't matter anymore, right? It's these things that matter. So I just need to draw lands. They also could start losing some mana crypt flips. Attacking for 6. Don't think that's good. I think attacking for 7 would be good. They've won every mana crypt flip. They have found a cavern. Do they have like an initiative creature follow up, and then they get in for? Oh my god! If they follow that up with a seasoned engineer, then they get in for free because they're clerics. Swords, so good. Am I willing to attack for 6? No. No, I'm not. They lost a flip. 15. Wasteland. Okay. This is not good. Solarian Academy would be good. Fetchland would be good. I don't think I have strands left, so. If I can find a fetch land and attack and they go for like a double block or something, it's 12 life. Human? Thalia. Oh, frick. Now my swords are offline. If I draw fetch, draw Mox. Can't even play the Mox for extra damage because I don't have any mana. It's really just going to be waiting on a mana crypt. That's not good. This has been really frustrating. Ooh, Wasteland's really good here too. I have all the cards I want in the matchup and I just don't have white mana. Can't even cast Force because there's a Cavern on 1 and there's a Thalia. I guess I wouldn't even cast PO, right? Off a Tolarian. They just want to flip. I mean, the one construct is holding it down. They just won another flip. I really like the mono white matchup, which is why these games have been so annoying for me. Like, I truly think the mono white matchup is quite good for PO, but I just haven't had that. I've been getting rolled over tonight. That's a basic island. I would have let me counter this white plume, but at least I can counter like a solitude or something. Better than playing a Mox here. I assume they're going down the Lost Well again. Trying to find a good card that removes this. They've won another flip. It's turn 11, and they've lost 2 flips. Is that correct? I really hope that's not correct. This is a turn 0 mana crypt, right? Turn 1 mana crypt, lost 2 flips. That's a banger. All right, my opponent top bottomed here. Won another flip. No downside mana crypt. Uncounterable human, seasoned dungeoneer. What a god. What a god. That's crazy. Well, they're gonna go the construct. Oh no. All right, I really need to draw my white land this turn, I guess. I'm so dead, man. He lost no flips. They can attack. They have anything is unblockable. Yeah. Put a null rod in the yard. All these. All right, Tundra is my best draw, right? I drew a Brainstorm. I mean, in that case, I guess I have to play out my Emerald. I mean, I'm dead on the swing back, right? Damn. This is crazy. Four, 7, 10, 12. Oh, I am so sad. They want another flip. No downside mana crypt. I don't even have enough to. If I find a white source, I can't even go for it, right? Because there's a Thalia. That's something else, man. The Thalias are a card that people have been cutting, and I'm not a fan of Thalia in this mono white deck at all. I think it's really bad, but it's been very good these games. Very good. It is. I am 19 cards deep and don't have any lands, which is part of it, but they have drawn 4 wastelands and 3 null rods. They took an anointed peacekeeper. They can name balance or whatever. We're dead. Man, what a rough one. Just named swords. It's the only one I can reasonably cast. I think if I drew cards in this game in like different orders, maybe we would have gotten there, but as it is, it just didn't work out. Too far down on my lands. But let's just check out that possible poor line. Can only control so many things. So here's a second balance opportunity. Okay, so if instead of I play my Lotus, I don't play my Mox. I can't actually skip that much. Okay, play my Lotus, but I don't play my Mox, so I still have a Mox in my hand. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I go down to 2 mana. No, so I still have to crack the Lotus to swords, right? No matter what. Because I have to crack this Lotus to play Yogwill, and then I have to play Lotus. Because I never hit a fetch land in this game. That is the actual problem. In this game, I simply needed one of my lands to be a fetch land. Because if I had a fetch land, I could play a fetch land out of my yard here, and then it's actually much easier. I can just go swords, and then something else. I don't know what something else is. Swords, replay Lotus. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I can go Demonic Tinker. 9 life? Maybe that's not good. I don't know. But the fact that all my lands here were were non-fetches actually means my Yogwell had nothing to get out. I think this is the correct Yogwell line then. Because if I have to play Lotus with this, then I might as well balance. I guess technically I have what, 4 mana right now, so I can go down to 2 mana to swords this, and then I can use my opal to bounce this. So I don't have to balance still, actually. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe okay. So if I swords the Thalia, 2 mana left over. I replay my opal. Oh, but I can't make any mana with this opal because I use my lotus. So I don't actually have that line. So I just have to balance. Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm priced into balancing here, and then I'm priced into forcing. Am I priced into forcing? I could have, instead of forcing, I can just mystical for an ancestral. I don't know. Maybe. Forcing this seems fine. Like, the bigger problem with forcing this is my spin. Okay, so what if I had just spun in response? I spin in response, and then okay, so what if I spin in response, I get the force, and then I force pitching force, and then I mystical away my thing for a tinker or an ancestral? That seems better. That could be better. So if I spin in response here, the only way, yeah, I mean, it's not going to ever work out badly because I have my force in my yard. So I just spin in response here to see what I have. And once I see what I have, I know that my hand is like not good. So I draw a blue card. I force this solitude. I keep my mystical in hand. And then on my next upkeep, I mystical. This upkeep, I mystical. I can't take care because it's stupid. I don't have a metalcraft still. So I guess I mystical for an ancestral and see where it goes. Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake. And then in this game, I just didn't have forces, right? So I couldn't really beat. I went all in on a saga and it wasn't good, was the problem. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't good enough to beat what they had, right? I mulliganed to 6. I spun. This definitely should have been Jet on top. Would that have changed anything? So I can play Jet here. Yeah. So no, but I don't have PO. I could have drawn with this and played PO for 2. Doesn't seem good. If I had Jet, I can't balance. I mean, I could still balance, but it's not very good. Like, making constructs here is definitely correct. But if I had a Jet in play right now, I would have 2 more mana. I could have spun. I mean, the fact that it was a Stony Silence too meant that I couldn't even sabotage this anyways. I'm not sure I'm actually winning this game no matter what I choose to do. But this game, I think I had it's kind of interesting that the only time I had a slightly better line was this mystical no spin. This whole keep was probably just bad if I think my opponent's gonna be on mono white. So, all right, straight into round 5. I'm gonna keep this hand with the redraws. I don't think it's amazing, but I don't really mind. Maybe my problem right now maybe this is my an overarching like issue with me and the current format is maybe something like this is just never keepable instead of sometimes keepable. Maybe like I just have to be mulliganing these hands and looking for more turn 1 tinkers. Like that might just be what I have to do to keep up in the way people are playing games out these days. Like, this is a hand that would have been, would have excelled against Urza's Saga. And maybe I just haven't adjusted to post Saga restriction fast format instead of slow format. That could be true. Could definitely be true. Oh, my opponent is on Dredge. This hand is not very good against Dredge. Like, literally nothing here is good against Dredge. They have mental misstep. I'm gonna still go for Snap Probe. And then if they want to misstep my second probe, I think it's fine. They did not. Okay, I mean, I have Saga to Fairy coming. Maybe and I have a Snapcaster. Maybe that buys me enough time. I don't know. They have one Dredge 3er in their hand. It's not the strongest 7-card keep. See how their 3 draws go for turn. I still need something more from what I'm doing. Okay, so that's some of their draws. Another land. I don't know. So like I had 15 lands in my deck if you count Saga and Strip Mine, right? This time I draw all 4 fetches instead of 4 non-basics. I don't know. I feel like if I play any less lands, I'll play against Wasteland and lose the game immediately. But if I play more lands, then sometimes I feel like I'm flooding out. But then I lost both my last 2 games to just like being Wastelanded out of the game. So like those are instances where I would want 15 lands and it just didn't even work out. So this was upkeep Dredge, and they hit a Dredger, and they dredged again, and then they discarded. And they discarded Dredger, Powder. They can bring back a Nicarid. They have to use a Dredger to do it. I don't even know if it's worth saving my Teferi. Probably. They found a second Bazaar? Okay. It's not good. It's not good. I'm at 12 already because of my double Gataxi improve. Yeah. I'm gonna block. It's kind of screwed though. And they still have cards in hand to play a hollow one after all that. It's kind of wild. Brainstorm is probably my best possible draw. Let's be real here. I can turn 2 dead cards into 3 good cards. They're gonna have to be real good though. Those are not real good though. That's crazy how bad they are actually. Wow. What am I doing wrong? Ooh. How many Icarids? There's 3 Icarids in the yard. I'm just dead. Even if I like make a yeah, okay. There's not even a point of trying to make them play it wrongly. They just can't. They have so much power. All right. I mean, the good news is I still respect Dredge, so I have Leylines, Tabernacles, and a Needle in my sideboard. Bad news is everything else. Island, misstep. Maybe you keep Narset in on the play. I really don't think balance is good. I'm gonna keep a swords in. Let's try this. You might ask why I don't have a Sphinx in my sideboard. The reason is I kept finding myself wanting to go for a Citadel anyways. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. All right, so they need to have a Vigor immediately. If I get griefed, I'm in a great spot because I have a Vamp in response. Don't know exactly what we're vamping for, considering the fact that my opponent can still have a counter spell. If they play bajillion hollow ones, I might have to just vamp for Tabernacle. Don't want to, though. Wasteland Shell Powder. No follow-up. Can't really, like, vamp for Flusterstorm or anything. I could vamp for Narset. I could vamp for Needle. I could vamp for PO. I could vamp for Tinker. I could vamp for Teferi. Teferi would limit my opponent's plays to just on their turn. But the problem is, like, if they have a Vigor on my upkeep, I want my play to still be good. I think Narset is the most limiting for that, but it's only limiting for one turn, but at least it buys me possible 2 spells. I guess Vexing Bauble can literally shut my opponent out if they don't immediately have Vigor. So, like, the question is, do I think they have Vigor? They pitched a Shambling Shell. Means they could already have green card. They could have Force. They could have Mental Misstep. They could have... Teferi means they can't... Teferi means they can't play a Vigor either, right? So Teferi's like a little bit better than Bauble. They can obviously play Hollow One, but at least our Teferi is doing something. I'm gonna try Teferi. I'm not sure this is right. But it's like it's like a mixture of like having a Vexing Bauble and having a card that does something. Sadly, they had the Vigor. So now I kind of just wish I had Tinker, obviously, but they might just have Force too. Yeah, okay. So it didn't really matter what I chose to do. As long Tinker would have been worse because Tinker would have lost me a Moxen. Upkeep, activate. How many dredgers? 2 dredgers. It's so hard to beat. So hard to beat Bazaar. Don't know now. I mean, just Tinker is my best draw. PO's good too. I'll probably use the white source. In case I draw demonic. Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm supposed to hold those for like a mentor, possibly. I guess. I PO'd for 2, but drew 2 mana, so I don't think I have more than one more draw step, it looks like. I'm at 14. I'm at 11. 14, I'm at 11. There's going to be at least 4 more power. Wow, they hit Narcomoeba 2 more amalgams. Okay, so this is my last draw step. The fact that Force of Vigor can just answer 2 ley lines for 0 mana is so crazy. I didn't have any counterplay in this game. I played my hand as it was, and it wasn't good enough. All right, maybe it will be good enough. Maybe I'll draw into action. No, I drew into Urza Saga instead of a spell. This could have been a Ponder if I wanted to play a Ponder in the slot. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is just how all of my challenges are going. I just feel like I don't have the counterplay to do anything. Doesn't matter what deck I register. I feel like I just play my hand out and lose. Don't know. All right, playing last one out just for practice, though we have queued into Merfolk, so not sure how much practice it's actually going to be. Could just be a slaughter. Historically has not been a very good matchup for me, but this is a kind of hand that makes my deck function, so maybe it'll be enough. It's probably just a demonic and jam something. Not sure what we're jamming though. I mean, we can just jam Tinker. Could jam Mentor. Could be good, actually. Plays around negation. Kind of like that idea. Should be good against Merfolk, too. See what happens. We get Mind Break Trap as well, but... Oh, this could be a Hull Breacher, which is unfortunately quite good against Merchant Scroll plus combo spell. But what I can do is just do it, just wait. And then if they ever cast it, then I just respond. Oh, that's what's happening? If an artifact creature... So I'm going to lose my Mentor's trigger? That's not something I had in mind, I guess. Interesting. Huh. Well then... Yeah, I'm gonna go with Merchant Scroll for a PO and PO on their turn to play around negation. Though if they had negation, they should have just negated that, so... This doesn't stop a new Mentor, right? No. Alright, so nice Tidebinder, I guess. Cool. Monastery Mentor. Restricted magic card for a reason. This is just gonna be a bunch of swords. And a dress down actually seems reasonable. Strip mine doesn't seem necessary. Kind of hate the idea of Narset. I wish I could make my deck have, I don't know, something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fetches. That's as many fetches as I can really play. Maybe I need like Lorien Revealeds. Maybe I need 2 Lorien Revealeds, and so like maybe I cut the strip mine for a Lorien Revealed, and just like don't worry about the strip mine. Play more to my game and have an extra blue source mana. I don't know. Maybe that's the line. I like Mental Misstep here. I like Balance here. I don't really like Narset here just because they have so many creatures, but I like Vexing Bauble because they're probably like an 8 negation, 8 force deck, probably something like that. So this looks fine. Sure. I mean, maybe this untaps into Cavern Hull Breacher, but I'm not even sure that matters. Hull Breacher was never a card that I felt was particularly amazing, even against PO. Oh, try to bait me on the force. Nice. I think I need this brainstorm. Tried to F6 bait me. Certainly a play you can make. What is this? Tempo Merfolk. All right. I mean, Ancestral with Force backup is Ancestral with Force backup. And has a Wasteland. I don't particularly have very good demonics here, so I guess it's just a pass. My opponent had Ancestral Force backup, Time Walk, and a Mox. Okay. Tinker. So I could tinker, but I don't have any backup for it. I can go demonic for a Lotus or tinker, but I can't do anything there. I'm just gonna pass at least one turn. With swords fluster, so nothing. That means they have all counter spells. They didn't do anything there. Makes my not wanting to go all in on a tinker make a lot of sense here. Tundra. Okay, I mean, if they want a wasteland, eh, kind of interested in just demonic here. This actually hits lands? I thought this hit creatures. Oh, when it enters. Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't really think that's how that worked, but that's my bad. I should definitely not have done that then. Reading the card explains the card. So now I just get wrecked by Wasteland 2. Yeah, I should have waited longer. My bad. I didn't really understand. I guess I just have to source this. I'm in a really bad spot now, obviously. I played badly. I had to keep waiting. I mean, this is why the matchup is so horrendous, though. Like, all of their things just hate on you. But I didn't really have a lot of counterplay. Like, if I waited into that anyways, it was still going to be bad. I didn't have a force for it anyway. Yeah, I don't think anything I do here is going to end up going well, because I don't have a way to stop this. I'm still getting wastelanded anyways. Like, I have to force this. This matchup is just so bad. All right, I'll just concede from here. There's no real point. Yeah, I mean, matchup's just really bad. Gotta take the spots we can find and jam. I definitely put, obviously, I completely misplayed into the stifle. I thought it only hit creatures and planeswalkers, but that was the second half. Cards have a lot of words on them these days. The second half talks about turning off creatures, planeswalkers, that kind of thing. But the first half is just stifle, so. Yeah. I'm gonna keep a Swords Mentor hand. Obviously, it has two of the clunky dead cards, but maybe that's just the name of the game is playing powerful clunky cards is not good enough. I don't know. I'm having real trouble trying to draw conclusions recently. Nothing has seemed like it worked out for me in any deck. Maybe like the answer is just have to play Esper Lurrus or just gamble with one of your other decks. I really don't want to live in a world where that's the case, but my hand's super good against this. It's actually really funny because my hand is just so good against this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't really want to play into Flusterstorm, so I'm just gonna Ancestral now. If they want to negate it, that's fine. You can just ditch it. PO, it's okay. Cavern on Merfolk. I guess this means it's the Lord or whatever. Yeah, drawing an Academy here is pretty bad too. I want to have Flusterstorm up for my mentor, so I'm gonna just pass like this. If they flash in the Lord, I'll just crack for double Tundra and swords it. There's a Wasteland. Sure, whatever. I think this means I'm not gonna have Yeah, I'm gonna play the Mentor. Clearly my best card in the matchup. I guess if they have a Merfolk and a Force, it's quite bad for me. But what am I gonna do? They shouldn't really play answers to this, so... Like, if they boarded in Dismember, I think that's a mistake, but it will probably beat us here. All right, I think this is getting countered, but I will try to Yogwill. I just need to cast spells into my Mentor here so I can attack. Yeah, it's just going to counter my Yogwill. It is what it is. I can attack here if they play a Hull Breacher. I guess I can't really attack here. Because I can force the Hull Breacher, but it's not that good. Like, obviously, like, it doesn't get countered. I just get a trigger. I get in for 4, but... if I was my opponent, I probably would have flashed in a creature and sacked it to the Hex Catcher. What is this? Oh, okay, so that does not, this is just a 1/4. Oh, it actually can take a swords. It's kind of sick. That's sweet. I mean, Moxen are actually okay draws here, which is kind of funny for the Null Rod in play. This is like very classic 2019 style match, right? Like my opponent played a Null Rod, but my deck has like this. It has a mana base. It has Swords to Plowshares. It can play through that. This is a not uncounterable Merfolk. I mean, this doesn't matter. It's just a 2/1 flyer. Surprised my opponent didn't want to save this Otawara. I do need another mana source, though. There we go. Because now I can PO off my Academy. Seems really good here. Oh, I actually, oh no, they can't change the target to it because it's not a legal change, right? I don't think it's a legal change. So even though I target this with 1, I don't think you can change the target to it because it's not a legal target because this is non-token permanents you control. Oh, this is only when it enters. Okay, never mind. It's not anything like what I thought it is. Reading the card explains the card. I thought it was like a flag bearer from Pauper, but it's not. It's like an ETB save a dude. So could they have saved the Hex Catcher from the swords, or was that not something that could have happened? Oh no, it was never mind, it was the Yogwill the Hex Catcher went down to. So if my opponent plays a Lord here, it's fine. Oh, we're gonna get stun locked? That's okay. That is fine. Yeah, I mean, this is just a classic. My opponent goes all in on stopping my PO, Mox, and stuff, and I just play good Esper cards and win. This is just a beautiful example of why I love this deck. It's one of my favorite decks of all time, and it's just because this deck isn't an all-in combo deck. It has an all-in combo. It has this strong Tinker Plan. It has the triple Mox and PO stuff, but the deck just like it. I guess if they flash in a Lord, I don't care. Like it can just play normal Magic. You have a huge tutor package which lets you, yeah, so they did have a Lord. It has a huge tutor package which lets you play normal Magic and like actually construct game plans, and it's just like a good powerful Magic. Shuffle it and target creature with what? That's how that worked? Okay, well. I didn't. I once again failed the read all the cards plan. I don't know if it matters too much, but all right. I will attack all. I will swords this. Maybe I'm not winning from here. Maybe the stun counter guy is like such a good answer that I lose from here. It's kind of crazy. Probably not though. They have no cards in hand. 12 life. Nah, probably not. I can play 4 spells this turn, I think, with PO. I guess my opponent can have uncounterable Hold Breacher or something, but that doesn't actually matter from here. Saga Gaming. Oh, I definitely did not know that that card shuffled things within. Reading is important. So I think I just play my Mana Vault and force my Mana Vault for lethal. Why don't I have... Okay, he just conceded anyways. But I was trying to hold priority. Oh, because these things auto-execute. I was trying to hold priority to... I can force this and make sure it's a lethal attack. But that got way closer than I thought it was because I didn't realize that the tempo guy actually had a shuffle thing. It was pretty cool. That card's pretty sweet. So we went 3-3. So I'm now like 5-5, which is, I guess, what it makes sense. This deck, it's powerful. It's a little clunky, but it's powerful. I can win games, but I can also just get disrupted and die. Don't know. What do you think in chat? Do you think this deck is past its prime? Do you think there's something good here? Do you think I should cut POs and play other Magic cards? I don't know the answer. I'm very, very frustrated, obviously, right now, leading into Eternal Weekend, because I think, obviously, I believe the format got much worse with the restrictions. I think the format pre-restriction was much better. I really thought that format was great, and this format is either... It's very polar. It's very polarizing with a super controlling frog deck on one end and then 7 different decks that go all in. Trying to find a middle ground where I find like a combo. I'm trying to find a combo deck that doesn't go all in. That's what that's the kind of game that I like to play. And right now Doomsday does not seem to be strong enough to fight the meta players. And so I'm trying to find a different combo deck that doesn't have... It's not like a Jewel deck or an Oops All Spells deck or a Mono White Initiative deck or a Dredge deck. I want my deck to have this level of choosing the correct avenue for any given game. And that's why I wanted to try this again. And this works, but I just doesn't feel... It feels like it's missing something. I have tried the initiative version of this deck in the past where you like cut the POs and you play some initiative creatures, but I don't feel like the initiative creatures are good enough. I've never felt that they can win games on their own. I've never felt that way. So I really dislike that. I don't think it's bad to play like 2 White Plume Adventures or 3 White Plume Adventures in your Esper Tinker deck, but like playing 5 seems really silly to me. Playing 5 in conjunction with extra Hull Breachers means you have like 9 different 3-drops in your deck. I don't know the answer. I don't know what the answer is, and that's what's frustrating me. That and the gameplay is frustrating. So it's like a combination of 1, I don't see the right avenue to attack the format right now, and 2, I don't see the gameplay that I enjoyed for the past couple of years has kind of gone away. Without Saga in the format to regulate a slow and permanent based game plan, everyone is just going crazy. Don't know. Obviously, I'm rambling a bit here, but that's just how it is right now. Hopefully, in the next 2 weeks, I can figure something out that makes me happy about this. But it's gonna be a long 3 weeks if I am going into 3 different Eternal format events and not excited to play Vintage. Because Legacy is whatever. I'm gonna play whatever I feel like is fun for me that I have the cards for, and I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But I wouldn't say Legacy is like a super enjoyable for me. So if both the Legacy and Vintage formats are not gonna be enjoyable for me, and I'm playing 3 weekends in a row of both, the gathering is gonna have to be pretty good to make up for it. Let's say that. That's with the new TFT set dropping during the whole thing that I could be doing instead. I'm a bit doomer gloomer. Sorry about that. Hopefully we have more winning and exciting and Justin enjoying vintage gameplay on this channel coming Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'll see you then.